What's up? My name is Manuel aka Adriana. This is my second time recording this video. I was talking for like 30 minutes about my life story and where I came from and why I am the way I am and all that shit. But second time's a charm. But my name is Emmanuel, aka Adriana, and I've never talked about my life story or like where I came from and all those things, right? So I will today. I'm gonna start from like being a baby to like now. So buckle in. And let's. So, I was born on December 30th, 2003. I don't know what time specifically, so I don't know my birth chart. But I know it was between 12 a.m. and 3 something in the morning. This is getting on my nerves a little bit. It's between like 12 a.m. and 3 something in the morning. And my mom, she had 8 kids. She wasn't supposed to have any kids actually at all. But she had 8 of us. And she considers all of us miracle babies because we are all miracle babies because we weren't supposed to be born. And I'm the 8th one. That's why I wear this. Okay. All right. But when I was born, when naming me, like, she was going to name me Emmanuel, right? And she used to say like just something came over her and she wanted to say Emmanuel, right? And they asked, what's his name? And then she was about to say it, but then my dad interrupted her and said, Marcus Emmanuel, bleep, right? So, that's not how it was. My first memory was, I was 2, I'm pretty sure. I was like 1.5, 2 years old. I was on, like, like those mini roller coasters on Massanutten? I was in one of those. I remember that. It was really fun. It's actually very vivid. Like one of the most solid, like, dream-like memories I have. But when I was like a baby, I don't remember, but we were in a homeless shelter. And it is what it is. I mean, not when I was born, but like at some point when I was a baby, we were in a homeless shelter. And then like we went from house to house to house to house to house, right? I went to like 5 different elementary schools, like 6 or 7 different houses. That's actually the number. There's actually 6 or 7 different houses. And it might be more than that, honestly. But some I just can't remember, literally. And that's all before I was in the 3rd grade. So we went from house to house to house to house, right? Kindergarten, it was alright. It was cool. I really don't feel like telling that story again. But, maybe some things are just private. Like if I don't know, maybe something that's gotta tell just people that are close to me, right? Maybe that's why the video went out. Or maybe it just fucking died. Or both. What if it's both? Oh. Anyways, anyways, so I was all before 3rd grade. 1st grade, we lived in kindergarten. We lived in like North Carolina, and then I went to, like different houses in North Carolina. Like I went to like two different schools in kindergarten, um, and then two different schools in kindergarten. I went to another school I went to two different schools in first grade. No, it was so same this school right here, right? This is the first one, and then second group first. I went to another school, and then first grade I went back to that school where I was still there, and then I went to somewhere else. We went to that was when we went to like the nicest house I'd ever stayed in. Like it was a gated community. There was like this big ass chandelier when you walked in. It was like is it vanity? Is that what it's called? Like like when you can like look over from upstairs down to downstairs at the front door. One of those, right? It was like really nice. It was like one of those big ass dining tables that go between like two different rooms. And it was just really really cool. And we were and there was like a pool. There was a pool. Apparently, I was the neighbor to my first and only, and I don't even consider it actual girlfriend. That was in the first grade. It was like a combined class of first grade and kindergarten, and I'm pretty sure she was my neighbor. She's pretty sure she said that she like saw me one day outside my window, but this is what it is, right? Of course, you're not gonna tell your parents about that shit. I actually remember stealing my sister's ring one day and giving it to her. And she kept it for a little bit, but I asked for it back. I had to ask for it back. Plus, she like broke up with me, so it was like, yeah, can I get it back? It's my sister's. Wait, yeah, but she was like my friend after that though. She was my friend after we broke up. But anyways, it was first grade. It didn't fucking matter. It wasn't real. It wasn't an actual like a thing. Anyways, so some shit go down, and we move in between school years. Like during like a vacation, we pack all our stuff and we go to a family reunion in Baltimore. Yes, Baltimore. I'm talking about Baltimore, not Maryland. And we were there. We stayed with my great grandma for like the summer. Rest in peace. We stayed with her for like the summer. Actually, I remember an earthquake happened. Oh, and at that house, that really nice house, there was this big ass fucking tornado. That was like so crazy. It like ripped half a house off and like it tore up so many fences. It ripped like half a house off. You could like see inside the house. And all that stuff. It actually was like there was divine intervention at play in that also, I will say, but I'm not gonna talk about it. Anyways, anyways, we go from that to live my great grandma in like the worst neighborhood in Baltimore, and that's not even a joke. So not Cherry Hill, but we go. But Cherry Hill isn't the worst neighborhood in Baltimore though. Also, I don't know anybody from anywhere. Okay. Anyways, anyways, so we go from there to like, when you're younger, things have to happen, and things have to happen. Like this one event can serve as as multiple purposes for multiple different people for like different different viewpoints, right? So like my two oldest brothers that were with us left, right? And I'm not gonna talk about it, but it's like one of the major turning points, right? Like this was when everything started to like settle in for how it was going to actually be for the next couple of years. Um, so we moved back to NC. We moved to a whole new place, whole new school, whole new everything. We actually didn't have running water. Um, we didn't have running water for like a while. I don't know how long. You know how when you're little, everything feels like it takes forever. Um, like school feels like it's like 30 years, and all that stuff. I don't know how 30 years feels like, but I would imagine that's how it feels. um, but I remember being so hyped when doing that. And I remember being there, and there was this woman, and and people there were like helping us a lot. People were there and they helped us a lot. Like neighbors, like they helped us with like food. They helped us with um, whatever. Namely one neighbor. I'm not gonna name him, but namely one neighbor. Um, he was really nice. He helped us so much. Like such a cool dude. But there was this the person who owned the house that we were in was like a caregiver, and she asked my mom to take care of someone, and I don't know if she was like an addict or if she was on the spectrum or anything like that. I think she was on the spectrum, but bro, like she was so nice, like she was so nice. Like people like that are so misunderstood. Um, such a pure soul, such a pure soul. Like, anyways, um, nothing happened to her. It was just like she was so nice, and she deserved so much in life. Um, and I'm sure she got it. And I'm sure she's still getting it too. Um, but we did that. Um, we were there for like a little while, and then we moved to a whole new place. Right, that's when we moved to the projects. Actually, the school that I was at, where the school I just talked about, like the new place, the place after the place I was just talking about, the school that I went to there, I didn't like it, and I had a teacher. I had a teacher that she was very cool, and actually, one of my favorite part about her was that she was Irish, because I never met like an Irish person at that point, and Ireland was very cool, and my last name is Irish. Um, or it comes with Irish origins, and my ancestors weren't slaves. Thanks to that, not thanks to that, but it's also like part of that history. Anyways, uh, so, but bro, she said dream, the word dream, right? Weird. She just say like dream. She say dream, like dream. Which I mean is still right, but I guess that's her accent. But she used to like, I don't remember much about this school, right? But I remember she used to like bathe in garlic. Literally, she explained like the process. Like she used to like cut up garlic cloves and put garlic in her bath, and it would like seep from her pores, and she would like bathe in it, eat it. She used to like eat raw garlic. She was like bathing raw garlic, and it was like, bro, I just smelled like, bro. Ever since that day, ever since those years, I have always had like this guttural. I had to check this guttural, this guttural like sick feeling from the smell of garlic. I love garlic too, and I love the taste of garlic. But it's like the smell of garlic. It's like, okay, but if you cut up from some fresh garlic, or you got some garlic paste, keep that shit like. I'm gonna stay with her for like a little bit, just know I'm gonna like probably walk away. I'm probably gonna walk away in like a few seconds, but after that, Um, um, After that, I got promoted to the third grade. We moved again. This time to the last school that I was going to go to. And oh wait, I just skipped a whole arc. After, so from my great grandmother's house, my great grandmother's place, we went to a homeless shelter. Um, we went to a homeless shelter in Baltimore, and that was actually at around the time of, like, the sniper, at least I think it was. They didn't want us to go outside. I remember at that day, but yeah, we went to a homeless shelter. It was very nice. It was okay. It was a bunch of families, and my mom was there, obviously, but she was like friends with somebody who lived there for like a very long time after that. In which my mom has like a everlasting just mark on everybody that she met. It was like magic. I remember like seeing that shit one day and like looking at it happen in like real time and thinking to myself, like as a little kid, like, I just like remember just seeing her talk, and it was like, huh. Like that shit was dead ass like magic, bro. Anyways, not saying that she did that stuff. I'm pretty sure she was probably like an archangel. Because she was also like very ridiculed, and people were like people that were like closest to her were weird as fuck, and she just had so many like people were just so unfair to her in her life. She actually used to have like a story in which she used to tell where she was like used to like rap and stuff, like freestyle. She used to like sing and rap and all that stuff, but she never like pursued it. But she had like a rap battle with LL Cool J right before he blew up, and basically people were like, it was she said that it was rigged. But anyways, I'm not talking about that. Anyways, that's not really something you can track, and like who's gonna admit that, right? Anyways, so yeah, so after the homeless shelter, that's when we moved back to NC, and then from there we moved, yeah, and then after that, that's the place that we moved from. So we moved from here, that's Baltimore, to here, that's NC, and then this is here, the next place in NC, right? Projects. And we were in the projects for a while, and that shit was funny. Man, that's so crazy. I just spent so much energy talking about that shit already. And now it's like, once I do something, I don't want to do it again. Like, that's why I have, like, problems with replaying games, because I don't do it anymore, because it's like, I already did it, But it's like, I can push through this, right? But we moved back to NC, or we moved to the second place in NC, and then we were in the projects. Probably my second favorite, if not my favorite, all-time school I ever went to. That's when I had like the most friends. I had more friends than like anybody else. I had more friends than anybody else. I was on like the AB honor roll. I was they put me in a gifted class at one point, but that wasn't like a really bad time. So it took me out. During that time, a lot of shit went down. Not a lot of shit went down, but it was really fun. Elementary school was like 3rd grade to 5th grade was so fun. Those 3 years were some of like the most. It was so cool. I'll talk about like different things that happened at that time. I'll have like different story times sometime. But going there, I had a whole bunch of friends. I'm basically friends with the entire grade level. And actually, I had a best friend at that time. That was my first best friend, in which I don't have a best friend currently, and I always would like, and I would always like a best friend, but they would always have somebody that they would put before me, and Even like I get like call me whatever, but even in like small things like that, like best friends. Maybe I'll never have a best friend. Maybe I will have a best friend. Who will like. But I just always wanted like a relationship where people saw me the same way that I saw them. You know, like the exact same way. But I feel like really strongly and very intensely about things. But it is what it is. But I remember he he didn't consider me his best friend because he wanted to be friends with the cool kids, the niggas that I hung out with. So he's like, sorry, but I only want the cool kids. It's like with so and so. It's like so and so is like dead ass one of my closest homies. You talking about you want to get cool with the cool kids? It's whatever. I low key, I quietly rescinded my best friend title after that. But he used to come over, and my mom would always say no. If you know, like some certain parents, I feel like parents who were like oppressed in some way. So like, I think that like parents with like who are like oppressed have like similar cultures, but people don't really know that, right? Like in North Carolina, when you go to school, it's like there are three different not types of people, but like there are three different like colors of people that go to the school, which is typically like white, black, and then Hispanic. Most of the time, the Hispanic population would like be more than the black population in the school. Sometimes, most of the times. But it's like we all have like a far closer experience, and like there were Hispanic people in the projects too, and they had very similar like come ups. But anyways, what are you talking about? Right. So, damn. Oh well. Oh yeah. If you're like, he didn't like she never like allowed him in the house because she never like talked to his mom. Like she never met his mom, and he would always like walk over. So, all that stuff. Funny story time. One of the houses one of my neighbors, their house blew up. One of their houses blew up. If you know like why, like the classic reason as to why somebody's house blows up in the projects is because they was cooking up meth. It was, so yeah. I remember that day pretty well. It was very vivid. Everybody was outside, and I think like either a little bit before that, or a little bit after that, there was there was this like the most obvious cop ever, bro. Like it was this white dude in which being white is not like a factor in his weirdness, right? Like one of the only people we talked to in there, well, not we, but one of the people, like there were like two different white families there, right? There were two white families there, okay, and all of which they was cool with everybody. So it's like, like, why are you here? And he just over there like walking around in his khaki shorts, his polo shirt, his black sunglasses, his dad cap, and his Hey Dudes, bro. Like, he asked for that shit too. Like, he was like, y'all know where a lot of it is. Like, I wasn't usually outside. I was usually inside. My mom could be inside because it was like gang violence and shit already. But it's like, I was outside that day hanging out with like people because I was safe anyway because I was good. Everybody was cool. Everybody loved my mom, so they was like, you know what, fuck that, right? It was some bullshit. Anyways, we was all chilling, right? I went outside because he was there. I went outside because everybody was like, "Yo, there's a lot of stuff there." I was like, we went out, bro. Anyways, yeah, that shit was hilarious. That's an experience, you know. It's not very common to get. Um, well, it's more common than not, but I don't know. You got to be in a certain area. Uh, but anyways, um, yeah, that shit was absolutely hilarious. Oh, and my best friend, well, at the time, for like 10 months at the time, he used to like, nobody knows this, but he used to like draw pentacles on like the bus window in the mornings. And he actually used to like, he told me about, he used to like draw pentacles in his blood on his walls in school, bro. Like, that's nothing so on. Yeah, it is. He used to draw blood, like pentacles in his blood on his walls in his house. And he told me about it. And I was like, oh, okay. He wanted to be Black Ops. He was a cool dude. He was pretty fun. He was pretty cool. I mean, obviously, he was my best friend at the time. But you know, I don't hold any like grudges or animosity towards him for that. But fifth grade, about to graduate, elementary school. But fifth grade comes around, and like halfway through this, or like maybe at the beginning, they found black toxic mold in our apartment, and they were like the manager of the projects, where it was like really, she was weird as fuck. She was really like dragging her feet and didn't do it. So her mom was like, you know what, fuck that, I'm gonna do it. And yo found a bunch of black toxic mold in the attic, right? And he was like, yeah, blah blah this up there, right? And we had to leave. We couldn't stay there. We had to leave and we couldn't stay there. And they were supposed to supply us an apartment, a hotel, like a hotel, motel, whatever, right? They were supposed to supply us one, because just giving us another apartment is not enough. It's not good enough. But they didn't do that, and my mom didn't know, and we moved into another unit, one of the big units. I was going to say nice, but it's not. It wasn't nice. It was just a big unit. One of the big units, and we moved there, you know. And actually, I remember like staying up all night before moving, and staying up all night to see if I could smell anything, to see if we were in like danger, like anything like that. I would last one fall asleep. Like I remember watching the static TV in this black ass house. In this black ass house. Everybody sitting on the couch sleeping together, right? And then I was just like up, like fall asleep, like terrified and shit. I'm not terrified, but just like worried. But we moved. We had no internet, I mean, I used to steal the internet from the rental office, but we were too far from the office to steal the internet. So now I had no internet. Had no couches, no chairs, because we had to throw all that out. And it was just chilling. I think we slept. Did we sleep on the floor or in? I think we put all of our stuff in storage. Yeah, we put our stuff in like storage, and throughout like the couches and stuff. But after that, it was. I think something happened, like a falling out between my mom and like the rental office manager, the weirdo, and she realized what they were supposed to do. She was like, "Huh?" Or she was like, "No, this is a lot of stuff there, right?" And so we started to sleep in the car. She drove us into a hospital parking lot. We packed all our things, We went to a hospital parking lot and we slept in the car. And we were homeless again. And from there, after a few days, we moved into a hotel. Not moved, but we stayed in the hotel for a bit. My days in, and then got a local thing, I would say the name of. And then I got pneumonia at one point in the local place. I got really bad pneumonia as a child. Apparently they were like really scared. I was bedridden. I couldn't eat anything. I couldn't really drink too much. I could drink a lot actually, but just the Pedialyte and like water. That was it. I don't ever have medicine. I don't think I did. I don't think I had medicine. But I got better over time. I got better eventually, right? And then from there we moved. My mom got a new place. We moved to another set of projects, and a whole new school, which is where I went to middle school. I was late on the first day, which kind of set the precedent for my entire middle school career. But we went to school. I had like a far smaller like friend group. Just check if it's still on. Okay, it is. I had a far smaller friend group this time around. Instead of defending the whole grade and risking being backstabbed, I just friended like a handful of dudes. Yeah, there was a couple chicks. I don't see it as like a demeaning thing, like a dehumanizing thing. I just say it like girl, right? Like I call dudes niggas, but I'm not saying niggas because I don't know. I'm just not. But but I was to say girls, okay? Okay. I'll keep saying chicks there. But so from there, right? Yeah. So middle school started. That's when I met my second best friend, or like not second best friend, but my second actual best friend, who I was never the actual best friend of because he was best friends with somebody that he was like a baby with. So it was kind of like, but I did pretty good. I did really good in sixth grade. I did really good in the sixth grade. Sure, my attendance wasn't the best, but my grades were still good. But in middle school was a whole different thing. Middle school was a very interesting time of year for me, time in my life. If you remember, I was in sixth grade, 2015, 2016. If you know, and I was in seventh grade between 2016 and 2017. If you know anything about those years, you know that people talk about them a lot. And I think that it's like a new it was an old 2016 core or whatever. But that was like the height of the alt-right pipeline. Like everybody was watching Leafy, Pyro, JonTron, all those people who all turned out to be, well, not all, who most of them turned out to be pretty weird and be part of the alt-right pipeline. Oh, sure, Pyro might not have known to be part of the alt-right pipeline, but he definitely was. Okay, he was following the culture in which the culture was the alt-right pipeline. All right. Or like a certain, he was following a certain aspect of the culture in which the certain aspect of the culture was the alt-right pipeline. Okay. So it is what it is, right? Not blaming him or whatever. Although he did make his own decisions, so but and people was just saying any and everything, bro. Just and niggas was doing any and everything, like not any and everything, but like I don't know, like there was still a line at being a weirdo, but like we still made like a lot of jokes, not weird jokes actually, which is actually kind of funny thinking about it. Most people did, but we didn't. We didn't make like weird ass jokes. We just made like dumb, really fucking stupid. We did really stupid things. But anyways, so from there, what happened? Oh, so I got held back in the 7th grade, and that's because in the 6th grade, I like transition between the 6th grade, like between school years. Let me check if it's still on. Is it still on? Okay, it is. I tried out for football, and I never broke like a bone or whatever, but like I'm very like I like am athletic. I don't appear to be, and I've been like fat like all my life almost, but I am athletic, and believe me or not, I don't care, because I know what I am. But I've always been like bigger, right? Like my bones are a lot denser and a lot denser than normal people, and like I'm I'm like super flexible, to where I have to like kind of overextend, and honestly some stretchers don't work for me because they just don't have enough like movement, so I'd have to like sometimes I have to like find like different stretches, because it's like how am I going to touch my toes? Touching my toes is not gonna do it. Like and also like, my wingspan is like, when I was like in middle school I was like 5'6", something like that, and my wingspan was like 6 feet. So like my arms are like longer, and plus I can like extend my reach as well because of my flexibility. So like everybody has all my life been telling me to do sports. Did I do it? Well, I tried. So football tryouts, I went there, and then before I just started running the mile, and you know what happened? It had rained the day before, and there was like a hole in the ground, right? And I twisted my ankle and I rolled on it, and that fractured my growth plate and sprained my ankle, right? And it put a crack in my growth plate, and it spread them apart. It spread them apart like a good amount, like a little bit, and I sprained my ankle. And after that, for some reason, I just didn't want to learn how to use crutches, and I just stayed home like for like 2/3, like almost like half of the school year. Maybe a little bit, maybe like, I went like every other day, every few days, but I missed like almost the entire school year. So I got held back. When I did get there, people didn't want to like roll me around in a wheelchair. When I got a wheelchair, people wanted to like roll me in the wheelchair. Girls have like always thought girls have like never thought I was ugly like that, but it was always like the boys who would say, "Oh, he's ugly," whatever, right? Which I guess is like a classic trope, but it is what it is. So, and I was ugly, so but during that time, because of that, because of my attendance and my grades, I moved with my dad. My dad got custody of me, so and I went with him for a bit. So I went with him for a bit, and it was alright. It was okay. The school was okay. My friends weren't there, and the school was kind of made, if I'm being honest. And during Like, if you know anything about custody battles, then you'll know that like you get like visitation between people and all that stuff, right? Like, you get visitation between your parents. Um, People at the other school just, I don't know, they were cool, but I said they were all right. They never like clicked, within a minute, anything like that, right? It was because it was like when I went from like being like a small town, small school, where everybody kind of knew each other, to like being in a place where like being in the school where the public school where all like the rich kids went to, like a public school good enough for the rich kids to go to, right? Like, and it was okay. Like the facilities were great and all that, but okay, I don't really care like that. And also, fun fact, when we were like touring that school, my sister was going there too as well, right? And my sister was like, we look like twins, but we're like 3.5 years apart. No, 3 years and 2 months. 3 years, 2 months apart. So, no, 3 years and 10 months apart. It's the other way around, actually. 3 years and 10 months apart. So, we went there, but she's like shorter or whatever. So we were touring the high school, right? And a dude came up to me looking at me like a damn bag of gold coins, bro. Like, he was like looking at me like he saw me from like across the school. You know how when it's like the school was kind of empty, you can like see across the main floor. He walked over to me with somebody else. He was like, "How do you feel joining the wrestling team?" And I was like, "I'm in middle school." And he was like, "Really?" He thought he felt like this crazy investment, but I never did it. So I left before I could go to high school there. So and actually at the middle school we were doing a tour, they thought my sister was a middle schooler. Like, she was by herself chilling somewhere, and somebody walked up to her like, "Are you lost? Where are your parents?" And she was like, she looked at the movie like, that was crazy. At least that's what she said. But I wasn't there. I wasn't on her when she did that, or when it happened to her. But I went back to my mom's house. I stayed for a little bit. During custody battles, you have visitation. You don't have to leave from visitation. You don't have to. If you want to go back, you can, but you don't have to, right? And I didn't want to, so I didn't. I went with my old friends, in which one of my friends had been expelled from making like jokes about certain school jokes that you're not supposed to make. This is like around the time where they were like becoming taboo jokes that you don't make. So he was making them like crazy, and honestly, I was too. But I didn't do it like he did. He was going crazy with that shit. And so he wasn't actually there. My best friend wasn't actually there. My best friend at the time wasn't actually there. So I went there, and I was in 7th grade still. But I worked out like a deal with the principal to fast track, right? Low-key almost lost that fast track like once or twice, but I talked my way out of it. And Mr. C, absolute gem of a teacher, right? He definitely picked up on that, and I saw him pick up on it because he was there when I was doing when I said it, and he looked at me. He was like, he let me have it. He let me have that shit, and he was like, "Okay." And you know what? I fast tracked, but I don't know what happened. I don't know if like a rumor spread or something like that. But after that, I noticed that. Well, I'm pretty sure it happened before that too. But like every girl in the 7th grade had a crush on me, and it was like so obvious. And I was like, okay. I mean, I didn't care about like any of them. I thought one of them was like attractive, but like that's it. And I, plus I got to the eighth grade, so and plus like when you're in school, dating someone younger just feels like a whole like it just feels completely different because it's like, bro, I learned this shit last year. And it's like you're learning this, you know. Not that I would know. It's just I thought about it at the time, so that's my reasoning. But it's like, you know, I mean, and even I say like up until recently, I was kind of iffy to on dating somebody who was like younger than me. By like that much, well, by 1 year. Until recently, I was iffy about dating someone who was like 18, 19. But that's because I didn't I hadn't I always assumed that people like my age, ever since like I guess since like the first grade, I always assumed that people like my age, and just like from observing people around me, like none of them were ready for anything serious. And as a child, I wanted something serious, so I was like, they can like they're gonna just like break up, right? Like, and even high school, you know, you got the Great Turkey Dump. If you know what the Great Turkey Dump is, everybody's dumping um their their people because they're about to graduate, they're about to go to college. So it's the Great Turkey Dump. Anyways, yes, it's like around November. It's like around Thanksgiving. I think it's like either right before or like right after Thanksgiving, or on Thanksgiving, maybe sometimes around that time. Anyways, so you know all that stuff happens. I go back. Eighth grade was crazy, and I had the best field trip I've ever. The final and greatest field trip I had ever been on. We went to Charleston, South Carolina, and we went to a museum as well as like it was also like we went to an aquarium. We went to an aquarium and a museum. But first we went to the pier. The pier was amazing, and Juice WRLD had like just came out like at around that time. Like he had just blew up. I would listen to Juice WRLD right before he blew up. I would listen to all his shit on repeat. I downloaded all his shit. I would listen to all his leaks right before he blew up. And I remember hearing him on the radio. I was like, yo. I remember when they dropped the Lucid Dreams music video. It was so man. Rest in peace, man. Gone way too soon. That's my favorite. Just like that's like probably my favorite artist of all time. Like just in general. Like I don't really care about like he did have great lyrical ability, but it's like even if you like bring up something like, oh, what about this and this, like I don't care, bro. like okay, that serves you in your way. This serves me in my way, right? And honestly, I can thank Juice WRLD. I can thank Juice WRLD and other people and like certain people in my life that I never went down like a crazy like drug path. Like I'll never do pills. I'll never do like the hard shit. Like I'll only like do like psychedelics. And I've done one. It was crazy as fuck. That's really like if you want to get cracked open by the universe, psychedelics is like kind of is a way to do it. You don't have to do it, but it is a way to do it. It makes it a lot more obvious and it really brings it to you. But it also opens you up to some shit. So you know, make sure you're good. Make sure you're on people, you're good people, and you don't want to be lame or you want to be fun. Anyways, it's a whole other story time. But is this still on? Okay. But yeah. Anyways, such a great time, and low key, that was the last time I saw one of my friends before he passed. I actually owed him. I think I bought him something. Yeah, I bought him like a Starbucks mocha, like one of like the cans, the double shots. Rest in peace. He had his own battles. Anyways, um, so yeah, the single greatest influence from my life. Like, I do believe in like you can like go to like different realities, whatever. I do believe you can go to them with people with different people. If I could do one thing, I mean, one, I would like live my whole life with my divine counterpart. But two, if I could just choose like a day in the eighth grade, bro, I'd fucking choose that day, bro. It was so amazing. It was so just, I don't know. It was magical, bro. It was just something about it, bro. Like, my phone didn't die all day. Everything went perfect. Like, and that's so rare. That was so rare in my life. Everything just went perfectly. Like, I used to think that was like I used to feel that was like the best day of my life. And honestly, every day is like the best day of my life. But like, if I could like pinpoint one day, that's one of them. You know. Um, but anyways, it was so nice. Like, I was just so far away from everybody all day, and that was like a first for me. Like literally all day. We came in. We left at like 3, 4 in the morning, and came back at like 1, 2 in the morning, bro. Like, and we were up all day. We were up all day doing bullshit all day, bro. But um, anyways, um, yeah. After that, um, I passed the eighth grade. Um, all that stuff. I did visit my friend a few times, but for some reason I don't know why. But I just felt weird. I felt weird visiting him. I think because people put some bullshit in my head, like, oh, if you were there, you would have been, you would have been, because he got like put in handcuffs and shit like that, right? But like, oh, if you were there, you would have been, we would have got it worse. It's like, what? I wasn't making those jokes. He has friends that were around him that do kind of make those jokes, but they didn't do it, and they were also black. So it's like, you're spewing bullshit. Like, you're just trying to scare me for no reason. Because for a friend that I had that was like the closest friend I ever had that knew me so much more than all of them combined. Because they thought they knew me, but they know they didn't. But it's whatever. It is what it is. But that happened. I graduated eighth grade. My dad does get custody, so I go to high school here, middle of nowhere, some small ass school, in which I made no friends. Actually, I made one friend. Um, I made one friend, but during the pandemic, he he unfollowed me and blocked me on everything, and I never saw him again. So he ghosted me. So the one friend I did have ghosted me. People would want to be my friend in high school. Um, like, it is what it is. And for some reason, I don't know why, but like I just have like this not this animosity, but just for some reason, I don't know why. It was just like a rejection of my mom, and I don't know. Something about I wish I didn't do it, but I mean, like, if I were to like go back in time, with knowing the lessons, having learned the lessons that I did now, I absolutely would have gone back, especially in the pandemic. Like, that would have been awesome. um, but yeah, like high school, I did that's when I got quiet. I stopped talking to people. I didn't make any friends. Um, I did join the football team. And I did lose like a lot of weight actually, thanks to that, and I did learn like a lot of like mobility, a lot of like I learned like a lot of like mobility and like, a lot of exercises. You know, I had never like worked out before, but when you got to do it every day that hard, like you either lift first or you run first. You probably want to lift. You probably want to lift first. Lift first. Um, the first, you chilling for like, you know, the first hour, and then you gotta, then you do the running, and it's like, okay, all right. Well, it's a lot of running, I'll tell you that. Even as a D lineman, a defensive lineman, which I only played like one game, which was like one. I only played like one JV game, in which I'm not gonna talk about. I don't know. Like right after that, I got into a car crash. I'm on a bus, which caused me to have a concussion that they said would never heal fully. Um, which I do still kind of feel like the effects of today. I do still get like headaches and like muscle like cramps. Like here, like you see that? My head can't really go all the way over, but oh, that's the side. See, like that's the rest, and then this is how. Well, I guess I'm just tight right now. Pause. But that's how it appears. But yeah. Sophomore year, I started making friends. Guess what happened? Yeah, that's right. Pandemic. So I started making friends. Didn't really, but that was right before I got into like contact with any of them. Right before I got any like real any way to like communicate with them outside of school, in which is kind of like, this is why I say things like that is like protection, because I don't know, it's like, I'm gonna say like something that's like kind of out of left field. It's like remaining loyal to someone that you don't even fucking know exists. Right? I didn't know like about anything about divine counterparts, like anything like that when I was like in middle school or high school. But it's like, had I been around there, I absolutely was probably gonna be put in the position to do something, right? Even if I stayed with my mom, something probably would have happened. Like, I don't know, like this is very, very controversial. People don't really talk about it like that because it's like people get embarrassed. I'm not embarrassed, so but like I've never like been with anybody before. I've never been with anybody before, and I've never like done anything with anybody before. And it's like, it's not like I didn't want to at any point in my life. It's just that right before I did, something happened, or like right before I was like in the process of doing so, something happened. And like people will say, "Oh, well, we're about to the third," but it's like, bro, you don't understand. You don't live my life, and it's like, in which now that I am where I am today, I wouldn't have it any other way, but still, it's very, very, it's very, very like, it's very interesting. And even when I was like, and even when I was like in, is it recording? Yeah. And even when I was like in middle school, I was like, it's like there were like times where I was like, it's almost like I'm being loyal to somebody, but I don't have a girlfriend. Like, at least I didn't know. Well, I don't know how it works. I do know how it works actually. I'm just avoiding talking about it. But yeah. But that happened. Oh, and when I was like in elementary school, middle school, and a lot of through high school, I wanted to be a game designer. And I wanted to go to school for software engineering. Yeah, I wanted to be a game designer and I wanted to be a YouTuber. After a while, when I learned who Hideo Kojima was, I was like, that's exactly what I was talking about. Be like a world-renowned game designer. Everybody know your name. You have like a certain style. You have your own games produced. Like I've had like ideas. Like I've had like countless ideas that would have been like blockbusters. Ever since I was little. Whether it be games or just stories in general. I like stories, and the way that I think would be cool to tell a story is through a game, an interactive game, and I stand by that. Not the only way. I do want to write books. I want to write. I do want to write books. I think I want to direct at least one thing at some point in my life, and I want to act eventually. I thought I'd be a good actor. I'm a really good actor, but I don't know. I don't want to. But like the thing about it is like you can't have like being being somebody that no one knows. You kind of have to do crazy shit. Not crazy shit, but it's just you have to do stuff that you're like probably not comfortable with. That's one thing, but like doing it with other people is my thing. You know, like I don't want to. I don't know. Like those stage kisses. It's like they're not real kisses, but it's like get your lips off my face. It's like I don't know where your lips been. I know you just brushed your teeth. I know you did all that stuff, but I don't know where your lips been. Okay, especially in Hollywood. Anyways, yeah. But then I went to college for I went to college for information systems management, management information systems, which is a lot of money. And they might. There's probably still a high rate. It's probably still like an okay industry to get into, or like an okay branch of tech to get into. Although, not really. Actually, no, it's information systems. So I mean, probably not. I mean, nothing is really safe in the software tech industry. And honestly, while I was there, I learned so many things about myself. Really. That's when I learned that I wanted to pursue like film and like I actually like okay. So let me actually talk about it. So I went to college, right? Really cool college, really cool university. And I was there for about a year. It was actually like a really good priced school at the time, and now it was really expensive, which is kind of crazy. Which I mean, it is what it is, right? That's how it works. They chart. It starts off at that price, and it gets over more and more and more. So like less and less people can graduate. That's how it works. That's not how. But yeah, technically, like officially, obviously not. But yeah, read it in between lines. You can't take everything face first, right? There are so many things that are true that are just, they're so ridiculous. They're too big to keep under wraps. It's like that's been a talking point for years. And guess what the fuck it dropped like a few months ago, like a month ago, some change, something like that. And it's like it's like, bro, people who said that are feds. Okay, people. If anybody ever says that talking point, that person is a fed. I don't care who it is, or that person is a fed, or they get shit from the feds. Anyways, okay. Anyways, in college, a lot of shit happened in college. Not necessarily inside the college itself. I was actually in my dorm most of the time, but like, so many things were just going on inside of me, bro. Like, pause. So many things were going on, like, just internally. Like, that was like the first time I was alone for my life with my thoughts, and I actually had to face like the wrongdoings, the wrongs that I faced, and the things that I've done, and all that stuff. I haven't really done anything though, but it's like the crazy thing. So I was just feeling all the things that around me, all that stuff. So I kind of shut down. I didn't do the schoolwork. Like the schoolwork was easy. Like college is not. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's easy, but like it's really everything is just memorizing stuff. Like if you can memorize stuff, then like you don't But it's like when I did the schoolwork, I got like high grades. I didn't really try it, but when I did the schoolwork, I got high grades. If I wanted to get hundreds, I want to get hundreds, right? But I didn't do something about it. It was just something I didn't want to. It's something I just didn't want to, So Well, I did want to, like, I wanted to, like, really badly, but it was like every day, it was like, okay, I'm gonna go to class this day. 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 And then I just end up laying down or just like playing Persona all day. Persona 4 Golden. Really good game. Siegfried is the goat. No, Yoshitsune. Yoshitsune is Persona 4 Golden. But everybody was indeed Asotobi and Brave Blade victims, if you know what that is. Their abilities in the game. Anyways, but I actually like that's when I started getting stuff. I've like been like on and off in learning boxing since I was like in high school. I was never able to do like extracurriculars in middle school. Or at least I just didn't do them. I was like thought it would be cool, but I never asked my mom because I always thought that she was just gonna say no. So I never learned how to like I never learned how to fight or anything like that. I mean I learned how to throw a punch, you know. Because I've been like I've had like people who just not random people, but just some people just teach me how to box. And then in the college that I was in, the university that I was in, they actually had an MMA club, and I was trying to join it, but there was the school. I had like a whole process and all that because the school was some bullshit. Like, oh, just use the hard people, and they're like, yeah, no, just use it to defend yourself, or just use it for the sport. Don't use this shit outside, right? But in university, I actually really got into fencing. Fencing is really fun. It's really fun and like it's really cool, and like there's different styles, and it's like have just being able to do it is just so fun, and it's so like exhilarating. It's so like you feel like kind of badass doing it. Like you feel like you're in like a movie doing that shit, you know, and it really is because I don't know, it's so maybe I want to get into it again. And then I got into the MMA club, which started later, so I didn't go there as many times. I did miss it like a couple days. But you know, if I could start over again there, but I don't know. I don't know. If I go, I would have to. No comment. Nah, I don't think I'll go back. I don't know. You never know where life leads you to. I think it'd be pretty fun, but like I don't want to do that shit like alone. But I mean, it's whatever. It's not really something I'm like super invested to go back to. But it is like a unique experience. Like in university, there's like some things going on like every night. Like there's like a party every night. I never went on off-campus parties because you know, if I see, I feel like okay, fine. If you like, I was in the vicinity of. If I even like say, damn, that's crazy. You can't say shit. Well, well, I mean, you can say. I can say I went to. I can say what university I went to. Or you know, I might go say what college I went to. I'm just gonna say like, you know, but every homecoming, every year at homecoming, somebody gets shot, somebody die, and it's never the person that they're aiming for. So it's like, I'm not going there. Also, I don't know those people where it's like, why would I just go to a place for people, a bunch of just drunk people who are like hot all the time. And by hot, I mean they even do some crazy shit. Like, like. Anyways, but yeah, you get like a lot of like free stuff. You get a lot of free clothes. If you do go to university, I suggest go to every event you can. Go to every event you can. Everywhere has free food and free clothes. You know, and I mean, sure, yeah. If you don't want to, oh, it's not free. Okay, it's included in your tuition, so you already paid for it, so you should probably go to it anyway, right? You are paying for all those parties. You are paying for all those free clothing that you get, so it's like quote unquote free clothing. You're paying for all that stuff, right? So why not do it? You know. But yeah. But after that, I dropped out of college, and I had like what I consider to be the worst year of my life, which was 19 through 20. But it was because I was just in such a I was in such a low point. Like that was the closest I was to ever like taking myself out. But I would never do that because I promised myself when I was little that I would never do it. So yeah, let me see if it's still good. Okay, it's still good. Because I promised myself when I was little that I would never do it, right? So yeah. But yeah, and that's when like that was when I had like my first real crush on somebody. Um, and I don't know, he blocked me, so I mean, yeah, that was like the first time I had like thought of like the concept of someone being just so similar to you that it's like kind of freaky. AKA twin flames. But I didn't know the name for it. But that's the time when I discovered, like shifting realities, and college when I discovered I put a name to my philosophy. So like, not philosophy, just just kind of like the broad, like bones of what I followed, right? Which was stoicism. Um, I don't know everything about stoicism, but yeah. But honestly, college was like another one of those things where it's like, if I was like certain places at certain times, or if I said certain things or whatever, or if I stayed there, then like shit would have I probably would have did like some things, but it's like the universe. If you're a certain way, the universe really like keeps people away from you. Like it's like people will be like you will either be forcefully kicked out of situations, or people will like have like a fear of hurting you because it's like okay, you know, because it's like I don't know, like I don't know what it is. I don't know. I've never not dated me. I've never dated anybody, but like I've never been interested in myself like romantically as another person. So I can never tell you the experience of another. Of how well I don't know how I feel. Like I don't know how like my energy. I don't know how my energy feels. Like I don't know, you know. But I just assume. I just assume and I just know, right? But yeah, like man, the universe does keep people away from you, bro, and it's like all that stuff, man. All that stuff, bro. Pretty cool stuff. IMO. But I left there. I moved in with my parents for like a little bit. I didn't have fun there. Moved back in with my dad and stepmom. Yeah, I moved back in with my dad and stepmom. The reason why I didn't go back to stay with my mom was because they said you will lose your VA, you will lose your this, that, the third, right? You will lose basically the reason I was able to go to college, they didn't pay for it. The reason I was able to go to college was because the military was paying for it. And if your parent is a veteran, then you can go to college for free, basically, depending on the college and how much it costs. And it was the cost and financially and all that stuff, right? And Pell Grant and all those things. You see that? Pell Grant and all those things, right? Gotcha. And yeah, blood too. It's crazy. Pell Grant and all those things. That means a biggie. But Pell Grant and all those things, or a bit something. But yeah, like they kind of like threatened to stay, do that and do that. And my mom was gonna put me on on with her, which hindsight, like if I could start over again, if I didn't, I would okay. If I could like, there were more things before then that I wouldn't get to that point. But if I could change it, not change it, but if I could go, if I were to like relive it all again with my lessons I learned now, then I would have like moved back in high school and stayed there in high school and then gone to college my own way. But I think they believed, or they projected, that I couldn't go to college while I was there, but I always known I was going to go to college anyway. And I always knew I was gonna go. I could have gotten into like a big college anyway. I probably got into a bigger and better college anyway, if I were to take my mom. But that's a whole other thing, and I'm not gonna get to. But um, they used to like say there was like more opportunity in Raleigh, and we used to like repeat that. That it's like opportunity in North Carolina. To me, yeah, I mean, not really. But anyways, yeah, no, with my parents for a while. That's when I really like locked in on the spirituality stuff, and that's when I started to like manifest a certain person from my past, that I thought was like, no. That's when I started to manifest my person, like my divine counterpart. Like, and this was like 2 years ago, like 2.5, 3 years ago. I know, like 2.5, 3 years ago. Like not necessarily like features, but just like characteristics. And I think I still have that book. I'm not going to show it to you though, but I still have that book. Only person who's going to see that one is my divine counterpart. But yeah, that's when I started manifesting that. And I have gotten very close to shifting realities multiple times. And honestly, this is why I think that you can also be redirected in like shifting realities. Like if you want to like reality shift, if you know what that is, like you can be like the universe can just stop you and be like, nah, bro. Because I almost did multiple times. Like if you know what they are, if you know what it is, like I almost did multiple times, bro. But there were just for some reason, But and if I were to go, I mean, maybe if I were to go somewhere, not maybe. If I were to go somewhere, then I'd probably go do some more shit. But that's just that. I mean, it's a whole new reality, a whole new people, right? So you're gonna do different things. But yeah. But that's when I really started manifesting my counterpart, and I really, really like, I really like refined it, and like, I really prayed for that shit. Not shit, I prayed for that. God. Anyways, yeah, that's kind of. Is that it? No, that's not really it. I moved in with my sister. Her apartment. I stayed with her for a while, like a year. Oh, like 2 years. I stayed with my sister for like 2 years almost. Like yeah, like a year and a half, almost 2 years. We got an apartment last year. Or a year before? Yeah, a year before. My mom had gotten sick at that time. That's when mom kind of fell back to the cancer came back. And made the move. All those things. I started working jobs. I've worked a handful of jobs in my life, like, and I'm a very hard worker. And people project that I'm not, or say that I'm not, but I know what I am. I know what I do, and I know I'm good at everything, right? But like first job it was like between the summer of my junior year and my senior year. Worked at Popeyes, and then next job I got was at Food Lion, and then for like a little bit. But I could never like, I don't know. They don't allow you to have like a life where you want to do things like on your own time, like, and that's why I don't fuck with them. Like, I didn't want to go to school and work at a Popeyes at the same time. I didn't want to do that. Sorry. And that's my prerogative. And that's like, I don't judge anybody for doing that. And you know what? If you hate me for that, okay, I'm sure. But like, I just didn't want to do that. Like, yeah, I didn't have money. I never bought anything. Like, I never asked my parents for money. I never asked my parents for anything. Right? Only time I got money was on Christmas. Despite wherever financial position they may have been in. only got money on like Christmas and whatever, in which they weren't like my dad had never. I'm not going to talk about that. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not. But it's like, I didn't have to, so I didn't, and I didn't want to, and also like jobs. It's just like I can feel it draining me. Like I get physically like ill. Like I could after like a while of like working somewhere. I think the longest I worked at a job was like 6 months. Those numbers are very common, but about like 7 or 8 months. I think maybe about it was about like 5 6 months, 5 6 months. Um, and that job is actually where like that's where, like the first like it wasn't even a real crush. That's like the first person I pursued. In which, yeah, she liked me like just as much, but she didn't portray it. So it was like like oh you're gonna be like that, and you're gonna do weird shit. Like okay, yeah, do weird shit. I cut somebody off my energy, right? And it's like and after a while it get like they kind of like get after a while people kind of like get desperate. Like people get like addicted to my energy, and it's like my brother told me like some people see you like you have like a certain like you have like this innocence or like something to you, and people see that, and most people want to protect it, but there are some that want to like take advantage of it, and she was one of them. And there are a good amount of people who do it, but most people see it. But like the people who like actually like I interact with most are the ones who want to like snuff it. But it's kind of funny. But that's really when when the universe started to crack me up. And bro, pause. Like that's really when I started getting activated. And then like that's when I started like communicating with the universe, like having like conversations with the fucking universe through people that had no idea. They were just talking to like somebody. They were just talking to like a coworker or whatever, and I was talking to the universe through them. Like, like if you talk to people, if you tell people like about that shit, they'll just say that's ridiculous because they didn't do it, and because you literally cannot prove it. And like if you try to record it and you try to prove it, whatever, sometimes the universe will be like, nah, this shit is for you and you only. You gotta reject the opinions of those around you. Like you have to like be able to say fuck that, right? You have to be able to just reject society in a sense. And like that's what I had like learned, and it's like I can't really tell everybody because even people who are like super tapped in and like know this shit is like real, but like you think they're just as tapped in as you are, they will call you crazy. They'll say this, oh, it's not that, it's this, right? When it's that because the universe just fucking told you what it was, right? And like that's when the shit started. Like this shit, the spiritual warfare I talk about a lot. That's when that shit started. When I said I'm an angel, and they were like, one looked at me weird and was like, "You're a human." And was trying to like project, was like trying to like make me doubt myself. And then the other one was like, "Doesn't mean you died," and like looked at me like a certain way. And it's like, oh, it's like to some people I thought I trusted the most with the spiritual shit. Right, the two people that I was here with at the start of the spiritual shit with, like the obvious spiritual shit with, was like, trying to plant weird shit in my head, and it's like, okay, and then the universe was literally like, you cannot tell, like, do not tell them anything, like, don't talk to them, like, you cannot talk to them about that stuff, like, they ask about it, just don't say anything about it, because they know just as well as you do the only way, like the only like valid way and for like the impact and for it not to be on them, the only way for like people like whatever, it's it's for you to tell them. You have to give up. You have to use your free will, and tell them. They cannot force that shit out of you. So they'll they'll use the fact that you want to talk to them against you, about things, right? And like so many things happen that it's like, you know, um, I wish I could talk to them, or whatever, but I just couldn't, and that's okay. That's very okay, and you're not alone in that aspect, in that fact, right? It is a part of it's part of some people's spiritual journeys. Not everyone, but some, and if not you, then the people who it's not, then they couldn't handle it, and or maybe it'd be too easy, and vice versa, right? Anyways, but yeah, I took. That's when I first tried psychedelics with my brother, and that's when I got like, it was like being tuned like a radio to the universe. It's like everything was a song, everything was time, and everything was like it was all pattern. Everything was a fucking play. That's what it felt like. Like that, like everything sounded like a play. Everything felt like everything was a song, bro. Like you put on King of it, like if you you do that if you take shrooms, be with somebody that you love, and you can talk to a lot, and that yeah, be with someone you love, you can talk to a lot, and put on King of the Hill and just talk to them. Don't never try to find something to do after you take the shrooms. Like do it right before. Like clean up your area, clean up your space, cleanse, and put on King of the Hill in the background. Because Gumball was on one time. I was laughing. It was the colors were so much, and you can also like you can kind of see like sound waves coming from TVs. So it's like, and everything is so much brighter. So it's like you can get like a headache from something that's loud because you're watching it. So Gumball was on. Gumball is colorful, and when you're on shrooms, it's dumb. It's dumb humor that gets to you, and Gumball is only dumb humor, back to back to back to back to back. It never stops. I remember I was like, put on Gumball, and I was like, like when you do your stuff, you get into your own like space, right? But put on Gumball, right? And I was literally in pain because I was laughing so much. I was in pain. My stomach was hurting. I was out of breath. My head was hurting. I was like, turn it off. And then one time, Star Wars was on, Clone Wars, and I forgot who it was, but she was red. She had a red lightsaber. I was like, and I kept calling her that bitch because I didn't like her. I kept calling her that. I was like, yo, I did not fuck with her, bro. I feel like, yo, I do not like her, bro. And he was like, what'd you call her? But, bro, like, everything felt connected. Like, my brother went into the bathroom, right? And I couldn't see the light from the bathroom, and I didn't hear him come out, and I didn't know. But I literally knew the exact time. I knew his cue to come out of the bathroom. Like, I looked over and he came out the bathroom on his fucking cue, right? Like, conversations have like a flow, like a certain flow and a certain like pattern, and it's like if you if you're kind of like outside of it, you can hear the play that you're putting on. You can hear the show that you're putting on. And it's you gotta, I don't know. It's very interesting. At least my experience was very interesting. Very spiritual. And yeah, when you do that shit, you open yourself up to a lot of stuff. And if you have phobias, don't like look at it. Like I was at the time afraid of the dark, and it was like I was looking down the hallway, you couldn't like see anything. I was like, like I was looking like I was like, who, like, what is that? like it felt like there was somebody there almost, but they're not at the same time. And he was like, oh. And I was like, huh? And he was like, oh. But yeah, when you do it, you cannot help but be your full authentic self. No matter how good you are at covering that shit up, you got to be honest, full and through, fully thoroughly. And your shadow side will come. Your shadow will come out if you try to suppress it. So if you got some shit to say it. And if you don't got shit to say, then hey, all is good. Anyways, oh yeah. So where I'm at now, we got evicted from that last apartment due to various reasons that I won't talk about. But I was in my spiritual journey at the time, so I was Gucci, I was good. So, whatever. Everybody had somewhere to go. No one really no one, I mean, you know how people say they want to help you, but they don't, or say, if I, this, then I'd do that, but I don't know, like, it's just we had like a whole conversation. It just feels like weird. I don't know. It's like, it felt almost like because my mom was gone, that they were like they were literally laughing at me. Like, literally. Like they were making jokes that I was gonna be homeless, or that I'm homeless, or whatever. Like, they were literally laughing at me, and they wanted to rile up a reaction out of me, but they didn't. And like, I don't know. And by those were like my siblings. Like those 8 kids that my mom had, it was like 6 of them. But it's whatever. And the other one of them was, he already had things figured out. He had somebody he was going to stay with in that time period, so he was good. He wasn't going to be homeless or anything like that. And then the other one doesn't fuck with us at all. So, but I meant 5. It was 5 of them. But I mean, yeah. But I came back here. I moved with my dad, and peanut butter, right? That's not who I am, but those are my experiences, and that's where I come from. And I said all this to like say, like, don't allow your past to determine, don't allow like projections to make you think of yourself a certain way. Like, you can work through anything, and of course there are things I don't talk about. I'm not gonna talk about like publicly. And I will talk about a lot more things over time, my different story times and like things like that. But honestly, I feel like I had no childhood. And I feel like before I turned 18, I didn't really have like a life, and I felt like I didn't really do anything. You know, and it's okay. Like, you are you. Don't let anybody tell you who you are, right? Or what you can do, or you're capable of, right? Or if you're valid in your thinking, or if whatever. Like, if you know who you are, and you have your discernment, your wisdom, you're good. Anyways, toodles.